good to see you. Oh, man. You know what? My history is coming up. I just had lunch today with a student friend that's become a friend that was with me, that started taking yoga classes when you started taking yoga classes at Inner Power in Calabasas. Oh my goodness, so good to see you. Hi, Loop Design Lab. Thank you so much for joining. But yeah, Corinne, I had lunch with her. I've been in touch with Gary Carter. He was part of that heyday. And gosh, my past is just coming up. I also had a student from Santa Monica Power Yoga reach out to me from that heyday, telling me how much she really enjoyed the classes and how they had really impacted her life. So blessed, so blessed, so blessed. Anyway, we're here to talk about Gemini. It's the full moon in Gemini coming in on Monday. And I'm being a little wacky, kind of crazy, but this is a good memory, a reminder that selenite is a cleanser. Selenite is one of the quintessential Gemini crystals or stones. It's one of my favorite stones. I've got a few of these wands left in the shop. Oh my God, they are so incredible. So selenite is named after the moon goddess Selene, which my grandniece, Nola Celine Connor, is named after. But seriously, selenite is a superpower crystal. It brings luminosity, illumination. It kind of mirrors and matches the moon energy that comes through. It is at once a cleanser. It's a natural sedative. If you're having issues sleeping, I promise you, if you get a piece of selenite, a significant amount, and put it under your pillow, you use it while you're watching television, part of your your downtime ritual as you start to unwind, your unwind ritual. That's the word I'm looking at. It cleanses away the negativity. So if you can't burn fire, it represents air. Gemini is an air sign. So when you can't, have fire or smoke, Palo Santo or sage, get selenite. And one of the quotes that I open up tonight is from Francis Schovel Shinn. Your word is your wand. Your words are your wand, and you're always casting spells with your words. Gemini is a sign of communication, and here we are in this fiery energy of Sagittarius. So I like to say that Gemini loves to instigate and fuel the fire of Sagittarius. So what is happening right now? If you look astrological wise, there's a lot of intensity. Everywhere you read, it's asking us to be mindful about our words, be very careful of getting into arguments, and actually saying something you may regret later. So it's about minding your words and really picking and choosing your battles at this time. Gemini energy is super intellectual, very knowledgeable, and always seeking information. Much like Sagittarius, they really are twins. I want to start us off tonight with this cleansing prayer for November's full moon in Gemini. I got this from popsugar.com. I thought it was a beautiful way to enter, and maybe you use it during your full moon ritual. So this full moon comes in on Monday, 11/27, and gosh, just about 48 hours. It's going to come in the wee hours of the morning at 1:16 a.m. Pacific time, 4:16 Eastern time at 4 degrees. Remember the number 4. We'll talk about that. Here's the prayer. Great Spirit, I have a lot to say, but don't always choose my words correctly. Guide me in releasing miscommunication so that I can clearly express myself when needed. Under the full moon in Gemini, I want to let go of all anxiety around speaking my truth and setting healthy boundaries for myself. I pray that I'm able to grow through this transformation in my life so I may communicate sincerely with myself and others. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So be it. It's about reassessment and introspection. It's about plunging deep into our self-awareness as we close out this month and we begin to tie up 2023. You know, when you think about 2023, it's been the year of choice. It's either this or that. It's almost like Gemini energy. You know, we've been forced to kind of make choices and choose sides, whether we wanted to or not. But when we think about choice, choice is free will. It's God's gift to us. The term, thy will be done, is like, have it your way. That doesn't mean that there aren't cause and effect. So go ahead. So oftentimes when people said God did this or God did that, really? So anyway, we are in an evolutionary change. We've been going through this big spiritual 7-year change all year long. All the spiritualists, astrologists speak about this code change on Earth, that we are shifting massively and quickly. And what it's forcing us to do is almost like a choice between good and evil. Almost like I think of the Gemini twins. You know, Geminis, you guys have 2 people living inside of you, and you know it better than anyone else. I think of the good angel on the shoulder versus the bad angel on the shoulder. One telling you your highest self and one being your lower self. But we truly are in a defining time. It's like, are you going to choose the light or are you going to choose the dark? So Gemini is represented by the twins, where one twin is mortal and the other is considered immortal. And these twins represent the duality that lives within us all. So you may not have Gemini sun, moon, or rising, but we all have Gemini somewhere in our chart. We are both a finite human being and infinite timeless soul. We have human rules that we must observe and live by, but our soul boundaries are free and boundless. So when you think about Gemini, think super, 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 super intelligent. I believe that that's why sometimes Geminis come off as so weird or aloof or kind of silo people, because they are so far ahead of the curve in intellect. As we're talking about something, they've been there, done that. They've already assessed it, looked it up. They already know. Think of impartiality. Gemini is about letting live and let live. Do your thing, shorty. Really, they let you do your thing. Think lightness, diversity. But also, Geminis are famous for being two-faced or indecisive. So again, it's not their fault, because we each have 2 people living inside of us, they say. Imagine poor Gemini with like 4 people living inside of them. Kind of crazy. So Sagittarius, being in this Sagittarius season and energy, it brings the explorer, it brings the seeker, curiosity, and driven by the why. Sagittarius wants to know answers. They want to get to the bottom of things. Again, very intellectual sign like Gemini. Sagittarius season also brings the feeling of freedom, independence, and expansion, because Jupiter is the ruling and home planet of Sagittarius. So Jupiter is about abundance and opportunity, an abundance of money, love, wealth, opportunity, health, healing, whatever it is that you need abundance for. So Sagittarius is a great season. It's a fire sign. So Sagittarius is going to literally burn through anything that doesn't serve us. I love that Sagittarius comes through in November and December to help us clear out before we get into a new year. This thought comes from Moon Omens, a reminder to be aware of the power of our words and our thoughts, as well as an invitation to be responsible for how we assert our opinions and we deliver our message. So Sagittarius is famous for being very blurting out and very outspoken. So egged on by the air of Gemini, be careful. It goes on to say, this full moon activates the Gemini-Sagittarius polarity, the axis of learning and communication, marking a time of completion and culmination of our learning processes, both theoretical and experiential. This event marks a shift in our worldview, perceptions, and perspectives, and invites us to release beliefs, thinking patterns, and communication habits that aren't serving our growth. This configuration highlights the tendency to make sense of what we are feeling through the rational mind, as well as the desire to search for the philosophical and spiritual meaning of our experiences. The Gemini full moon reminds us to be aware of the power of attention, our words, and our thoughts. This event will encourage reflection of the connection between how we think, how we perceive reality, how we speak to ourselves, and how we speak to others, inviting us to pay attention to repetitive thinking loops and beliefs that just aren't serving our growth and empowerment. By becoming more aware of our inner dialogue and noticing the link between our thoughts and our emotions, we have an opportunity to embody a new level of presence, and from there we can make different choices. Your words are your wands. Words are things. Francis Schovel Shinn, your words are your wands. That is why they call it spelling. Spelling, we use our words. Full moons are also a spotlight, as you know, and it brings up the hidden aspects that are even hidden to us. It allows us to release what no longer serves us and brings us growth. So being ruled by the twins, Gemini is known for its communicative and inquisitive nature. It's called a beaver full moon, and this beaver full moon brings lively and curious energy with it. It encourages us to reflect on our hurried pace in life. Like this year, I felt like we've been hurrying up to stand still. Like we tried to go fast and move fast, but the energy of this 7-year will have only allowed us to go so far. It encourages us to reflect on that pace and help us to see how much we're really trying to juggle. We really are trying to juggle way too much in life. We really are. So let's get into numerology. We are starting, this I found fascinating, we are starting a run of full moons at 5 degrees. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We will have 5 full moons at 5 degrees. Thank you, Intuitive Crystal, for joining. 5 full moons at 5 degrees consecutively in a row. So here we are coming up on Monday, the Gemini full moon, the Cancer full moon, the Leo full moon, the Virgo full moon, and the Libra full moon will all be at 5 degrees. 5 is the number of change. So, wow. So the next full moons, we're going to have to hang on to our hats. But change is not always bad. I feel like this is really good, positive change. So the date, 4 is the number of organization, or 4 degrees. So this moon is coming in at 4 degrees. 4 is the number of organization, like a square box, like architecture. As I said before, 2020 was a 4-year. Think about how boxed in you were. But 4 also represents organization. It also represents security, safety. And it's okay as long as you're free to move around. But we were really locked in during that 4-year. But 4 really is a number of stability. So this energy coming in at 4 degrees should make us feel a little more stable despite the airiness of the Gemini energy. Kathy LaDonna pointed out that most of the full moons in 2023 added up to the number 9. I was like, get out of town. I hadn't noticed that. As much as I love numerology, 9 is tough. So here we got this spiritual energy of a 7-year underpinned by full moon 9 energy. No wonder it's been such a trip. And then she pointed out that most of the new moons in 2023 added up to a 4. Get out of town. So again, there was a little stuck energy for us. It felt like we wanted to move faster and have more momentum than we really were able to have. The date, 11/27/23 equals a 9. Okay? So 9 deals with endings, karma, universal love, enlightenment, and spiritual awakening. So the big thing about 9s is endings, because the minute you clear something and have an end, you create an opening for a new beginning. The fun continues with the numbers, because there are 6 planets that will be in mutable signs during this full moon. Neptune and Saturn will be in Pisces, a mutable sign. The moon will be in Gemini, a mutable sign. Mercury, Mars, and the sun will be in Sagittarius, a mutable sign. What is a mutable sign? Mutable signs occur at the end of the season, such as Gemini is the end of spring season. Virgo is the end of summer season. Sagittarius is at the end of the fall season, and Pisces is at the end of the winter season. Mutable signs are go with the flow energy. They don't take life too seriously, and they can easily adapt to unexpected changes. So good thing, because we've got this mutable energy, and mutable signs are philosophical thinkers, and they're very intellectual. They enjoy deep and rich conversation. Indecisiveness can sometimes plague mutable signs because of their large ability to see the big picture, see things from multiple angles before they make a judgment call. Mutable signs can also turn on a dime like that and come up with solutions very fast. They think quick on their feet. Gemini energy is actually the community energy. When you think of community, sometimes we hold on to things that don't really belong to us. So we hold on to things that are familiar, things that we kind of, in a way, inherited. Think of groups. So we go to a particular church growing up. We go to certain schools. Two lawyers, welcome. Thanks for joining. We go to a particular school. We do work. And all of these groups create this familiarity that we become accustomed to. So it's nothing that we choose per se, but somehow we still hold on to it because it's part of the collectiveness. Energy of Sagittarius that's with us can be impulsive driven. Mars is a fire planet, and Sagittarius is a fire sign. So again, be mindful of your words. Watch your energy. If you get annoyed and ticked off real quick, blame it on the energy of the planets. It's really, really affecting us right now. Focus on a project that really needs your attention, because this fiery energy serves a purpose. Gemini energy will give you the intellect and the insights that you need, and Sagittarius will give you that go power to fearlessly move forward, and burn away what doesn't need to be there so that what needs to stay can get healed. And it's still a time to really listen to your intuition. When that Scorpio season opened up in October, and we have that new moon in Scorpio, that intuitive energy is still living with us. Think facts, media, communication, words, motion, activities, and the way you are able to share. So I'm sharing right now, social media is a Gemini quality, and it's Aquarian quality, another air sign. These air signs are all about technology and moving things forward. I think it's amazing that I can connect with you long distance, and we can have a kind of a conversation and kind of connect with each other. Another planet that's shaking things up right now is Saturn. Saturn is a T-square to the sun and the moon at the same time. Squares are all about action. So despite this being a 4, it's a square of action. It's a time to do it. Remember, Nike says just do it. Remember the term go for it. Observe what you need to take responsibility of. With Saturn moved direct. Finally moved direct. And with Saturn moving direct, it represents a fresh start, because Saturn likes to make us take our time, stop and pause. So we're beyond that now. Gemini is our house of self-discovery. So again, as I said earlier, now is a time to really get involved in your self-awareness. Something new is becoming real for us. You can actually feel it. We don't know the hour of the day, but you can kind of feel. Do you kind of feel this energy like something big, something good is coming? The Gemini full moon on the 27th brings that square that supports the journey that we have been on since the October eclipse season. So the eclipse season started in October. We had that solar eclipse followed by the lunar eclipse. And it is said that that eclipse energy will be with us for the next 6 months. So October, November, December, January, February, and March, just as spring season is coming through. So there's a lot of energy with Mars, the Sun, Saturn conjuncting. All of this is representing the energetic bodies entering a new cycle. It's a time where you may feel tired. I realize, like, I'm still feeling a little tired, but that is also a function of the daylight savings time. When you think of it, we are tied to the circadian rhythm. And that circadian rhythm is off by an hour, and we can say just an hour, but it makes a difference. So it's getting darker earlier here on the West Coast in the Western Hemisphere. But it has messed with us. It takes, our bodies are trying to catch up with the circadian clock that operates on a 24-hour cycle, whether we like it or not. It affects humans, it affects nature and animals. So give yourself a break. See if you can take a little bit longer nap. See if you can actually capitalize on actually feeling tired. Since we fell back, you should feel tired earlier. Don't be like me and waste that extra hour of sleep. Okay, what to do? Take a breath before you speak or act. In fact, it's a time to bone up your breath work practices. Navigate conflicts mindfully. Conflicts are a part of life, or as Abraham Hicks loves to say, contrast. Contrast is always going to be a part of life. And I swear to you, 2023, I swear it was, if it wasn't this, it was that. I just felt tested the whole time to see if my spiritual practices and work are working. And I'm happy to say 80% of the time they are, but there's still that 20%. But we're always growing and evolving, aren't we? So I show myself some grace. Remember that action needs to come from your deep instincts, not from your oughta, shoulda, woulda, couldas. Saturn in Pisces is a paradox because Saturn is in Pisces right now. So it went direct, but it went into Pisces, kind of watery, ethereal, dreamy Pisces. It is said that Pisces likes to undo things to get to the bottom of it, where Saturn wants to get things done. So, you know, there's that duality of that kind of twin energy of like the twins actually, these two energies actually not agreeing, but somehow trying to find a way to find balance anyway. Stay flexible during this time, and embrace inner transformation. Embrace inner transformation. It's a great time to gather. Hi, Karen. How you doing? Welcome. Gather with spiritual friends and teachers. Join me and Katia in our full moon circle coming in on November 30th. These circles have been amazing. This one is about celebration and stillness, recognizing the importance of stillness to bring in that harmony of body, mind, and spirit. Energy update. So on 11/22, we officially entered Sagittarius season. 11/23, Thanksgiving. What a beautiful, stupendous day in California. I said to Eddie, I was like, this is why we pay for the sun, and happily. Living in California, just spectacular. But I was so grateful because if you look back, I don't know if you're like me, looking back to 1 year ago, where I was 1 year ago to Thanksgiving Day, complete change of life. And I'm so grateful to God for it. So grateful. So many friends and beautiful connections that have created just in 1 year. I was so grateful. I hope you had a beautiful time with your family and friends. Yesterday, Mars entered Sagittarius, teaming up with Mercury and the Sun. So we've got a lot of Sagittarius energy. So Mercury, Mars, and the Sun are sitting in Sagittarius as we enter the full moon on Monday in Gemini. In closing, I leave you with this thought again from moonomens.com. I'm so happy to have found this website. Check them out. I think they're doing beautiful, beautiful work. And it says, During Sagittarius season, a time of the year especially focused on our quest for truth, expansion of our horizons, and search for the meaning of life, the Gemini full moon is here to remind us that everything is relative. The full moon in Gemini reminds us to stay flexible and stay open to different perspectives, perceptions, and ways of seeing the world. This lunation invites us to observe our relationship to relativity, duality, and dualism, and reminds us of the power of versatility and adaptability. Gemini is connected to inductive reasoning, logic, and gathering data, while Sagittarius is connected to deductive reasoning, intuition, and direct experience. Around this time, we will have chances to see more clearly what needs to be refined in our communication patterns. We will be reminded of the value of conscious communication and the importance of being aware of how we deliver our message, share our opinions, assert ourselves, and express our feelings. So this, guys, is an invitation for us to be more responsible. The truth will always set us free, but it's always how we deliver that truth. We are responsible for being mindful and conscientious and compassionate in our delivery, especially when we have to deliver less than stellar news. Remember that. And go easy on yourselves during this time. It's been one hell of a ride this year in 2023, but we're almost through. Selenite comes in all many forms. One of my favorites is my selenite orb. Time to get out your selenite, the natural cleanser associated with air, associated with the moon. My two wands are representing Gemini. Gemini! Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in to this edition of Moonology with Astrid, as we talked about this full moon in Gemini coming in this Monday, 11/27 at 1:16 Pacific Standard Time in the wee hours of the morning. So when we wake up on morning, we'll be ready to go. Have a great rest of the weekend, everybody. Namaste.